I'm Jen Newton, registered dietitian at the Sky Lakes Wellness Center. Today we're going to be putting together a quick and delicious meal. This is going to be an inside-out stuffed cabbage roll soup. So we are going to be using some very lean ground beef. We are going to be adding some butternut squash. You have the option of doing fresh butternut squash. I'm choosing to use frozen butternut squash because it's already peeled and it's already chopped up for me, so it's going to make it a lot easier and faster for things to come together. Lots of different seasonings that we're going to be adding in there, and of course we've got our cabbage. So I'll give you some tips on how to get our cabbage chopped up so that we can easily add that into our soup. And then we are also using instant brown rice. So this is still a whole grain, but because it's instant, it's going to cook a lot faster, meaning this meal is going to come together very, very quickly. So first I'm going to start with browning our ground beef with our butternut squash and our green pepper. Let those soften up a little bit, and I'll get those started, and then I'll come back and show you some tips for dealing with the cabbage. Okay, so we have our ground beef cooking, and in it I've already put the butternut squash as well as our diced up bell pepper. I've pre-measured our spices out as well as the brown rice we're going to add, and so now the last thing that we need to do is just to prepare our cabbage. So this gives us plenty of time while this is cooking to be able to focus on this. So this is half of the cabbage. I was able to buy this in the store this way. If you end up buying a whole cabbage, I would say go for the smallest one possible. Of course, if you just love cabbage, the more the merrier. We need about 3 cups, which is what about this half a cabbage is going to get us. So some quick tips. You want to make sure your core is taken out of this. So we're just going to do some V slices around the core. So be careful, and it's better if you have a sharp knife for this. And so we're going to take that out. A little more cut here. So make it easy so that the rest of this basically is going to be cut up. It's going to be chopped or chopped, basically, rough chopped, to be able to add to our soup. So again, to do this, if you have a food processor, you can put it through the food processor and get pretty good results with that. I like to just do it by hand because it's less to cut up, or less to clean out rather. I'm going to do some horizontal cuts in it, just parallel with the cutting board. Careful of your fingers, you want to make sure that you're keeping those well out of the way of your knife. We don't want to go all the way through, we want to leave the back intact, so we can use it to kind of keep everything together. So I just did a couple horizontal slices. I'm going to do a couple vertical slices as well. And again, the goal is that when I do cuts along the front, then I'm going to have pieces that are ready to go into my pot, and I'm not going to have to do additional cuts as well. So cabbage is a little bit tough, so just make sure your knife is sharp. And then from here, I'm literally going to be slicing it. And so as you can see, we have pieces that are ready to go into our pot. So I'm going to finish doing this, and then after our ground beef is cooked properly, then we're going to toss everything in there. So join me back for that. So we have finished chopping our cabbage and have added it to the pot. In addition, I've added our spicy V8 juice and all of our seasoning to go along with it. So now I'm going to, we did add a little bit of water, that's in the recipe as well. We're going to cover it and let it just cook for about 8 to 10 minutes, and our goal here is just to get the cabbage tender before we add in our instant brown rice. So we'll give it some time and then we'll come back. So our cabbage is tender, we've cooked it for about 8 minutes, and now I'm going to add in our instant brown rice. I've measured out half a cup here, and I'm going to just stir it in, then I'm going to cover it again and let it cook. It's going to take about another 5-ish minutes for that to soften up and to get ready to go, and then once that's done, our soup is ready to eat. So we cooked it for about another 5 minutes till our rice was tender, and now we are ready to eat. So this meal comes together really fast and quickly, especially if we're using frozen butternut squash. This is a meal that you can prepare in the crock pot. If you're doing that, I suggest that you wait until the very last minute before you add in the instant rice, or it's going to get quite mushy. And it's also something that you could freeze and use for quick meals later on. So come and enjoy this delicious soup.